Hello ladies and gentlemen, Mike here at GameFromScratch. Did you know GameFromScratch has a Discord server? Yep, we do. It's full of lovely people and you should definitely check it out. We'll get back to that in just a minute. The link is down below. Haven't really talked about it since 2020, so I figured I'd do a video to let you guys know that it is out there. You should join this wonderful community and the link is down below. But the other thing we're going to talk about in this video is the death of game development communities. And I might be kind of overselling it a bit, but not a lot. What you see in front of you, this is the remnants of something called Flipcode. Now, when I was a youngin', this was the place. I loved Flipcode with all of my soul. It was a great game development community, and then I think the guys behind it had some health problems. It kind of just went idle for a few years and then died off as a result. I will always miss you, Flipcode. I really will. So Flipcode went away. By the way, some of the featured articles that came about it, so you see it was a very nice technical location. It had a good mix of professionals and amateurs all commingling. Some great topics were discussed there. Flipcode was just a wonderful place. And I think it was Kurt Miller that ran it, but I may not be 100% certain on that. But you see the timeline we were dealing with here, the late 90s, early 2000s. It was a beautiful place and a beautiful time. Unfortunately, Flipcode died. And then a lot of people from Flipcode migrated over to GameDev.net. Now, GameDev.net is not dead per se, but it's a shadow of what it once was. And in all honesty, it was never Flipcode. It was never fully a Flipcode replacement, but I spent several years on GameDev.net. I learned a lot there. I made some great friends there. And like I said, it's still around, but the amounts of content on it is just minimal, and I don't know what they did to the theming of this site, but oh, this is bad. So again, GameDev.net is still out there. It's just the community has really kind of died off a bit. And while we're talking about that, where we moved from there, well, there was TigSource. Now, TigSource, I actually have never really been active on TigSource. This is for independent games, very, very indie focused, and people don't use the webpage. The webpage hasn't had an update since 2020. It had very periodic updates over time, but the forums definitely did well. This was never really my world. This was more like a game jammer, indie gaming kind of place. It always had a bit of a snobby vibe to me that I just never kind of worked well for me. So the only channel I would ever hang out with here was the technical one. And here still, it's just, again, it seems to be a bit of a shadow of its former self. And I think what happened to a lot of these forum-based game development communities is Reddit. So Reddit came along, and Reddit kind of really became the new forums of a sort. The thing is, and I moved from GameDev.net to Reddit Game Dev, and I used to be active on Game Dev, on our Game Dev, almost hourly, and then maybe a couple times a day, and then maybe daily. Now I check it every once in a while just to see if something's going on. Something happened with our game dev, and if I've talked to a lot of people about this in the past, like especially on Twitter, and it just doesn't have the same appeal to it. It's, I think the common parlance is, turned into a bit of a circle jerk. It's just sort of, I don't know, it's just one of those communities that seemingly jumped the shark. Now, there are other communities out there for sure. So you can see up here in my bookmarked ones, there is a solid Godot community on Reddit. The Unity community is solid on Reddit. There's definitely things that are interesting on Reddit still. It's not all of Reddit that's bad. It's our game dev that seems to have really gone downhill. And it's just basically, it went from being a content site to a marketing site. It's like, here, look at my game, or buzzword. It just, I don't know. There's something happened to that community, and it really went downhill. Now, the thing is, all of these communities kind of ultimately suffered to one thing, and that is, ironically, to go flipping back to where we started from, Discord. Now, it feels like Discord took over the community market, but at the same time, we also had where the rise of the individual game engine became more and more important. It all became about, you know, you were a Unity developer, or you were an Unreal Engine developer, or you were a Godot developer. In all of those cases, you can go to a Discord server for those things, but generalized game development, the whole just engine and technology agnostic game development community kind of died off. And that is what I'm trying to foster at the Game From Scratch Discord. And this, by the way, is it. So if you want to come on over here, check it out. We've broken it down by categories. So we've got things like game development topics, definitely worth checking out, and engines and frameworks, you know, specific to it. Then we got breakdown to art, audio. If you specifically have a question, you can ask it here. And then if you want to just talk about weird crap, head on over to Off Topic. We don't really get into religion or politics or current events. This is mostly, you know, a fun, chill place for game developers to hang out with fellow game developers. But an area where I highly recommend you check out, if you have never been to the Game From Scratch Discord before, is the resources section. Now, this is exactly what it sounds like. It is a collection of resources for around the topics of game development. So this one is tutorials and videos, and that's all you will find in here. It is a very curated list. I think Xenobrain for doing all of the gardening for me. So there is a ton of just resources in here. So if you want to find tutorials and videos, you'll find them there. Little quick snips, tips, tricks, that kind of stuff. You will find that in the well-named quick tips section. Again, Xeno is the curator on this stuff. We got game development discords. So again, the game development communities have died. The forum communities are no longer a thing, but Discord communities, wow, we have a lot of them. Not a lot of them for just general game development, and that's what I hope Game From Scratch ultimately becomes. But you're gonna see here, we've got a number of other Discord servers, and this goes back, this one is very, very, very old. So if you're looking for a very specific Discord server or other Discord servers around game development topics, we've got them all organized over here. And then finally, this is just a set of assets, tools, software, resources, packs, stuff that you might want to check out. The kind of stuff that I cover pretty routinely here on Game From Scratch, well, you can find it in this category right here. So if you just, for nothing else, you don't want to join the community, you don't want to hang out with us, you just want more of what you get here on Game From Scratch, the YouTube, and Game From Scratch, the website, well, these 4 channels right here is where you're going to find it. If you just want to find cool people to hang out with, over here in Off Topic, you will find that. Game development topics generally are in these 2 categories right here, but we do get a little bit more specific. The cool thing about Game From Scratch is we are not a Godot channel. We are not an Unreal Engine channel. We are not a Unity channel, but we will talk about all of those things, and if it's related to game development, we will talk about it here. I'm also trying to work towards this concept of bringing brand ambassadors over here, so you will have experts on hand. So we see here GDevelop and Coco's Creator have experts that you can ping if you have specific questions. Of course, they also have their own Discord server, so you can head on over there as well. But the entire idea behind this Discord server from Game From Scratch is to try and be this overarching community. On top of that, I think, you know, tooting my own horn here, I'm not incredibly active on this server. Like, I try to spend as much time as I can, but I also need to get things done. But I have an excellent moderation team. They stay on top of things, so it's just a nice place to be. And then we also have the super secret patrons section. Although, to be honest, there's not much going on in there. But I do appreciate every single one of you patrons. And by the way, that link is down below as well if you want to check that out. So that is kind of it. Game From Scratch Discord, if you did not know about it, go check it out. Great place, great community, and let's grow it even bigger. And the death of game development communities. Do you agree with me? Do you find that these non-Engine specific, like, are we all organized around like Discords now, and the specific technology we're working with, like Unreal or Godot or whatever, and just the general game development community is sort of a thing of the past? Or am I just missing out on some? If there's other communities that you highly recommend, do go ahead and check them out. And by the way, if you're looking for other great Discord servers to check out, again, this one right here has hundreds of them. So let me know what you think. Comments down below. Hopefully we will see you over on the Game From Scratch Discord, and I shall talk to you all later. Goodbye.